Recently, the Australian federal government released a new budget, and since then, both the Labor and Liberal parties have begun their pre-election preparations for the May 2025 federal election, initiating the battle mode. The focus this time is on immigration and the housing crisis. It's a game to see who can surprise immigration more fiercely to solve the housing crisis. If the number of international students and immigrants declines, Australia's education industry will shrink, immigration numbers will plummet, and economic development will stall. Macquarie Bank even predicts a 50% chance of triggering an economic crisis. Now, people are either happy or worried. Those who can't afford to rent or buy a home are pleased, while homeowners or prospective buyers are concerned. So, what are the details of Australia's immigration reduction policy? How will it impact the economy? Can reducing immigration solve the housing crisis? Will housing prices drop significantly due to the fewer immigrants? Hi, I'm Alex. Welcome to Aus Property Strategy, where I share information about real estate investment, economic trends, and wealth creation. If you like this video, smash the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to watch new weekly videos. Without further ado, let's get into it. I checked the Australian Bureau of Statistics data. As of the year ending June 2023, Australia's net migration increased by 518,000 people. This includes permanent residents, international students, and others with long-term visas over a year, excluding short-term visas like travel or family visits. Many believe that the surge in immigration is the direct demand factor causing the rise in housing prices. Too many people come to Australia at once, but the housing market and construction industry, including labor and the material supply, can't keep up with the rapid demand increase, resulting in inevitable price and rent hikes, leading to a housing market crisis where more people can't afford to rent or buy homes. However, there is much more to it. In the recently announced federal budget, the government stated that from July 2024 to July 2025, Australia's net migration will be halved to 260,000 people, a number similar to the pre-pandemic levels. The abnormal phenomena in Australia's economy and real estate market in recent years will likely return to normal with a decrease in net migration. But this is not the main issue. Australia's 1,400 schools capable of admitting international students will have enrollment caps. To exceed these caps, schools must invest in building student accommodations. This essentially puts schools under pressure. Reduced student numbers means lower income, risking closure for those heavily reliant on international students. If schools build more housing, it will further push up construction and property prices. If they overcome this hurdle, the economy will improve. However, many schools might even give up before even trying. The Liberal Party stated that if they win the May 2025 election, they would be more aggressive than the Labor plan, reducing permanent immigration from 185,000 by another quarter to 140,000. This number is about 27% of last year's peak immigration numbers. Such a drastic drop in immigration would undoubtedly cause an economic recession. Australia's economic growth now relies on population growth, but per capita GDP has been in decline for 4 consecutive quarters. The education and immigration industry will suffer significantly, leading to the closure of schools and agencies. The real estate market will also face an adjustment period. But this might not align with the logic that fewer immigrants and students mean lower house prices. Australia's net migration has reached a historical high, with net migration being the difference between arrivals and departures. This surge follows the pandemic slump. The current annual net migration is 518,000. If you consider the average before the pandemic and the reduction during it, the current numbers haven't even offset the decrease. The high numbers now are just a rebound effect. Government long-term population forecasts remain lower than pre-pandemic levels. When viewed in the long term, the fluctuations are less dramatic. For a very long time, Australia's construction pace kept up with immigration growth. Over the past decade, except during the pandemic, new housing matched the average annual increase of 170,000 immigrants. The imbalance began during the pandemic. Population, including immigration, first dropped, then surged. With stable construction rates, the conflict became evident. Rising construction costs, labor costs, and financing costs post-pandemic continued to this lag. Another fundamental reason for the lagging construction isn't immigration, but household structure. Average household size in Australia dropped from 2.8 people in the mid-1980s to 2.5 recently, meaning more houses are needed even if the population remains constant due to the smaller households. The pandemic accelerated the need for more living space, further reducing household sizes. The immigration surge mainly involves temporary residents, not permanent immigrants, impacting the rental market more directly than the sales market. Temporary resident housing needs differ from those of permanent residents. For example, over 10% of students live with 6 or more people, and 12% live in dorms. Student visas make up the largest part of temporary residents. So blaming rising rents on international students is unfair. The Property Council of Australia data shows international students make up only 4% of the rental market. The other 96% are the real issue. However, this 4% disproportionately impacts universities and city centers. Blaming national rent increases on students in specific areas is misleading. Without international students, rents around universities and city centers might drop, but this would not affect overall rents much. The Liberal Party's policy to restrict foreign buyers from purchasing second-hand homes for 2 years covers a small range and won't significantly slow price increases. FARB data shows foreign buyers prefer new homes over second-hand ones, with only 1,200 second-hand homes purchased by foreigners annually. Thus, relying on foreign buyers to solve the housing crisis is unrealistic. In conclusion, the main issue in Australia's society is the cost of living crisis, particularly housing affordability. Both parties aim to address this as a priority. The Labour Party wants to reduce immigration to lower demand and ease the crisis, while the Liberal Party has a bolder plan for larger cuts. Historically, current population surges are just compensating for prior reductions, with long-term averages not varying much. Reducing immigration will temporarily ease rental market pressure, but significant long-term price drops are unlikely. The direct result of a drastic immigration cuts is a potential economic downturn. As Australia's immigration peak subsides this year, economic growth will stall. A long-anticipated recession marked by 2 consecutive quarters of GDP decline will become more likely. Macquarie Bank estimates a 50% chance of a recession in the second half of 2024. In December 2023, per capita GDP declined for the 4th consecutive quarter, with the overall economy growing only 0.2% in 3 months and 1.5% for the whole year. NAB estimates international students contributed over half of 2023's economic growth. Students not only pay tuition but also spend in their daily lives, just like everyone else. A decline in student numbers will slow economic growth. Thus, Australia's current economic model can be described as population trap. If growth relies on immigration, further growth requires more immigrants. If population growth slows without other economic drivers, recession risks will increase. A key measure to stimulate the economy is lowering interest rates. Aimed at rising inflation and good unemployment data, more economists predict the central bank's next move will be a rate hike. If rates rise, buyer confidence in the housing market might crumble, leading to an adjustment period. If you've made it this far, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and share this with your friends. Turn on the notification bell to watch new weekly videos. And have a good one. Bye.